Hey guys, Mr. Lloyd here. March 16th, Monday, part 2 of 3. This is going to be this page. It says 6-6. It's a remembering page, and we're going to go over it quickly here. Problem number 1 tells us all about an equation, gives us a little bit of a story about an equation, asks us to fill in the tables. I just recreated the table here. We use the algebraic equation 1.5c plus 6 to fill in the values. So 1.5 times 1 plus 6 is 7.5. Once again, just like the previous video, I'm going to go through these very quickly, so if you need to pause to jot these down, please do. Okay, we're just going to fill in the values. 10.5 for 3 cards, $12 for 4 cards, and finally $13.50 for 5 cards. Number 2 asks you to graph. I didn't want to recreate the graph on my whiteboard. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit lazy. I don't know. Oh, here you go. You can take a look at mine there. And remember, the way I graph that, ordered pairs, the ordered pairs from your table, X values are the cards, and the Y values is the money. So you can graph that. I'm going to move on to number 3. Number 3 asks us about making a certain amount of money mowing lawns. If I make $88 mowing 16 lawns, how much do I make if I only mowed 6? Set it up as cross multiplication. Here we know that 16 times x is 16x. So remember, we multiply across the equal sign. We make this big old x. And 18 times 6 happens to equal 528. Here I know that x is going to equal 528 divided by 16, and finally x is going to equal excuse me, a nice even number, $33. Once again, going through these quickly so that these videos are nice and short. You can pause if you need to. Number 4 is very tricky. It's asking you tells you about the area of the top and the bottom of a rectangular prism, and it asks you to take some calculations. And I'm just going to show you mine. Here I draw the cube here. I know that if the sum of the top and the bottom is 54, then the sum of the top must be 27 and the sum of the bottom must be 27. 27 is half of 54, so they add together to equal 54. So area equals 27. Then I know that the length of one side is 3 and the width of another side is 9. The area is length times width, base times height, however you want to say that. So 27. So then it's asking me what is the volume. So once again, I have to think, wait a second, volume is length times width times height. I'm missing one measurement, except I read back my problem one more time and it tells me the height is 5. So then I just multiply my 3 measurements together and I get a total value of 135 feet cubed. The last problem is very fun and tricky. It's asking us about this was a challenge problem I put to you guys a few weeks ago. This was a one where a lot of folks stumbled, so I'm going to walk you through it. It's asking us to think about the volume of a box, and then they're going to ask us to think about what happens if the volume of that box doubles. I'm going to pause real quick and get myself ready. All right, so here this problem number 5 tells us that someone's making a little box and they are finding the volume of it. They're just using the formula length times width times height, and then they're asking what happens when you double it. So I wrote these two equations. 2L times 2W times 2H. That's each side doubled multiplied by 2. And a lot of people want to say, oh, well, the volume of the big box is 2 times the volume of the little box. Very common way to think about these things, but it's actually incorrect. Try this. If length times width times height, if each one of those measurements was 1, it would be 1 times 1 times 1. The volume of the little box would equal exactly 1. Now, if we double that, what is 1 times 2? Well, of course, 1 times 2 is 2, so we're going to multiply the big box, 2 times 2 times 2, and of course we get 8. Volume of the big box equals 8. So the relationship is that the volume of the big box is exactly 8 times more than the volume of the little box. I don't have a lot of time here, so I will just tell you, you're welcome to substitute any values in for length, width, and height. Double them and you will always get 8 times as much. All right, that's video number 2. I'll see you on the last one for today, video number 3.